The galactic arena floated silently above a small, blue planet. Its sleek metallic towers reflected the light of nearby stars, casting long, sharp shadows across the surface. Warriors from every corner of the galaxy had gathered here, drawn by curiosity and pride. They were known as the strongest fighters ever seen. Creatures whose strength, speed, and abilities had become legendary. Many of them had fought wars that shaped entire star systems. They were confident, proud, and certain no one could challenge them. Among the alien spectators were Vorlax, a towering being with thick green scales and eyes like molten gold. Zareth, a lithe and graceful creature whose long arms could crush metal. And Thyra, a blue-skinned telepath who could read thoughts before they were even spoken. Each had trained all their lives, defeating every opponent they had ever faced. And yet, today, they had come to watch humans train. Humans. Creatures that most of the galaxy considered weak, fragile, and insignificant. The observers whispered to each other, amusement and superiority in their voices. "They cannot even lift a plasma blade," Zareth said, stretching her claws. "This will be entertaining." "They are tiny," Vorlax rumbled. "Nothing but insects among giants." Thyra tilted her head. "Still, curiosity demands we watch. Perhaps there is more to them than we believe." Meanwhile, on the planet's surface, a group of humans prepared for their training. They were few in number, barely 50 in total, and none were larger than the average alien's arm. Yet there was a light in their eyes, a quiet determination that spoke of courage and discipline. At their center stood Kara, a young human woman with short brown hair and steady, calm eyes. She moved with purpose, stretching her limbs and taking deep, steady breaths. She had trained for years, not to impress others, but to survive and push the limits of her own body and mind. Around her, the other humans followed her lead, practicing synchronized movements that were precise, efficient, and smooth. A loud horn echoed across the arena. The humans stopped instantly. Through holographic screens, they could see the alien spectators watching them from above. Kara raised her hand slightly in greeting, a small gesture of confidence. "Look at them," Vorlax said, his voice low but amused. "So small. Yet they pretend to be warriors." Kara turned to her team, her expression serious. "Remember what we've trained for," she said quietly. "Strength matters, but intelligence matters more. Watch, think, and adapt. We will show them who we are, not through size, but through skill and heart." The humans nodded. There was no fear in their eyes, only focus. Their first trial was about to begin, an obstacle course designed to test endurance, agility, and teamwork. The arena itself was a massive structure, stretching for kilometers, filled with moving platforms, energy barriers, and simulated hazards that could injure or exhaust anyone unprepared. The humans moved forward, stepping carefully, yet quickly. Their muscles burned, their lungs ached, but they persisted. They climbed walls, leaped across platforms, and navigated through shifting obstacles. Kara led them with precision, her eyes scanning the path ahead, noticing every potential danger and every opportunity to move faster. Above them, the aliens leaned forward in their viewing pods. Some of them began to murmur among themselves, their expressions ranging from amusement to confusion. "How do they move so carefully?" Thyra asked, her mind racing to understand the humans' coordination. "They are slower than us, yes, but they do not stumble as we expected." "Persistence," Vorlax muttered. "They do not give up. Even when they falter, they rise again." The humans encountered the first major obstacle, a massive spinning cylinder that threatened to knock them off balance. Several humans struggled at first, slipping and nearly falling. But Kara remained calm, demonstrating the movement slowly and precisely. Her team followed, timing their jumps perfectly. One by one, they crossed safely, drawing small murmurs of surprise from the aliens. Next came a series of energy barriers, walls of glowing light that could burn or stun. Most humans hesitated at first, unsure how to pass. But Kara observed carefully and shouted instructions. Jump here. Duck there. Move together. With her guidance, they timed their movements, weaving through the barriers with surprising speed. Even Vorlax, who had never underestimated anyone before, felt a twinge of uncertainty. He had seen thousands of warriors, creatures that could crush planets, fall in similar trials. Yet these humans, fragile and small, were moving with purpose, strategy, and courage that rivaled some of the galaxy's strongest fighters. After the barriers, the humans faced the final section, a vast pit filled with shifting platforms and moving energy walls. This part of the trial required absolute focus, quick thinking, and trust in each other. Kara led by example, jumping across the platforms with precision and helping those who lagged behind. She offered hands, shouted encouragement, and signaled silently when danger approached. The last human stepped across the final platform, and for a moment, silence filled the arena. The humans were sweaty, tired, and scratched, but they had completed the trial. They stood together, breathing heavily but proud. In the viewing pods, the aliens exchanged stunned glances. No words were spoken at first. The strongest warriors of the galaxy creatures who had seen empires rise and fall were speechless. They had expected weakness. They had expected failure. Instead, they had witnessed discipline, courage, and intelligence that none of them had fully anticipated. Vorlax finally broke the silence. Perhaps we have underestimated them, he muttered, his voice tinged with both awe and caution. Thyra nodded slowly, her eyes wide. There is something unusual here. Something extraordinary. Zareth, who prided herself on knowing every fighting species, could only shake her head. They are still humans. How can such small, fragile creatures move with this precision? On the planet below, Kara and her team were already preparing for the next trial. They did not know what the aliens thought, nor did they care. Their focus was on improvement, on learning, and on showing the galaxy what humans were capable of not through strength alone, but through heart, intelligence, and relentless determination. And somewhere in the silent corridors of the galactic arena, the strongest warriors of the galaxy began to feel something they had never felt before. A quiet, creeping respect for a species they had thought would never matter. The first part of the training was over, but the story of humanity in the arena had just begun. The sun of the blue planet glimmered off the metallic surfaces of the galactic arena, reflecting light like thousands of tiny stars. After their initial success, Kara and her team took a brief rest, drinking water and stretching. Their muscles were sore, and their breathing was heavy, but the sense of accomplishment kept them moving forward. They had crossed the first obstacles, but they knew the real challenge had just begun. In the viewing pods above, the alien observers were quietly tense. Vorlax leaned forward, his massive arms folded across his chest. They did not fail as expected, he growled. They adapt. That is unusual. See, the notion of. Thyra's eyes flickered with thought. Adaptability is the key. These humans learn from their mistakes instantly. That is remarkable. Zareth shifted uncomfortably. I have seen warriors fall in worse situations. Yet they persist. What makes them so resilient? Back on the ground, the humans lined up for the next trial. Unlike the previous obstacle course, this one was designed to test combat readiness and quick thinking. Holographic opponents flickered into existence, warriors of different shapes and sizes, moving with realistic speed and power. The humans faced beings with 4 arms, fire-resistant skin, and energy blades that could cut through steel. A whisper went through the human team. Some were nervous. They had never seen holograms programmed to move like real aliens before. But Kara stepped forward, her eyes calm, her stance firm. "Remember," she said softly, "strength is only one part. Speed, teamwork, and thinking ahead will win this trial. Watch their moves, find weaknesses, adapt." The trial began. The holograms moved quickly, attacking from multiple directions at once. Humans dodged, rolled, and blocked attacks, using teamwork to create openings. Kara noticed that the holograms repeated patterns after a few seconds. She signaled to her team, and they adjusted their positions, striking at precise moments. A younger human, Liam, stumbled under a rapid attack. Kara rushed to him, helping him regain balance while keeping an eye on the hologram's next move. "Keep moving," she said. "Do not let them trap you. Use your mind, as well as your body." Slowly, the humans started gaining ground. They were smaller and weaker than the holograms, but their coordination and speed made them unpredictable. One of the holograms swung a heavy arm toward a human, only to miss as the human ducked and pushed the projection into a spinning trap. The aliens above stared, wide-eyed. "How?" Zareth whispered, unable to finish the sentence. "They are turning weakness into strength," Thyra said slowly. "Their size, their apparent fragility. It is part of their advantage. They move faster and think faster than the simulations can predict." Vorlax grunted, his pride wounded. "I have never seen such control from a species so small. It is unnerving." On the ground, Kara's team pressed forward. They used simple tools, ropes, and environmental objects to block attacks, trap holograms, and create escape routes. Every action was quick, clean, and calculated. Even when a hologram struck them, humans fell lightly, rolling with the force, minimizing damage, and immediately returning to the fight. Then came the surprise part of the trial. The holograms began to change patterns unpredictably, forcing the humans to improvise. A massive simulated warrior slammed into the floor, creating shockwaves that threatened to knock several humans off their feet. Kara shouted instructions, and the humans linked arms to anchor each other. Using combined strength and clever positioning, they stabilized, then struck back with precise movements that disabled the simulated enemy. The aliens gasped. Vorlax's massive hand tapped against the pod window, creating a loud echo. "Incredible. They use cooperation and thinking, not brute force alone." Thyra's mind raced. "This is more than training. This is evolution in action. They learn, adapt, and survive. Their instincts are sharper than any species we have studied." The humans pressed forward through the final wave of holograms. A human named Mira used her speed to lure multiple opponents into a trap Kara had set with ropes and levers. Another, Jonas, climbed a high platform and dropped a weighted object to knock a hologram off balance. Every move was planned, yet spontaneous. Every action showed intelligence and teamwork. Finally, the last hologram flickered and disappeared. The trial ended. Humans stood panting but triumphant, their clothes torn and their skin scratched, yet their faces shone with pride. They had faced simulations meant to challenge the strongest warriors of the galaxy, and they had succeeded. In the viewing pods, silence filled the room for several long moments. None of the elite aliens had expected such results. Vorlax's deep voice broke the quiet. I do not understand. They are effective. Every move calculated. Every weakness turned into strength. How can this be?" Zareth's claws tapped nervously against her console. "They are humans. I have always thought them weak, fragile. Yet they survive. They do more than survive. They dominate situations that should destroy them." Thyra remained quiet, observing the humans. They do not fight like other species, she said finally. They combine body, mind, and heart. That is terrifying and remarkable. Meanwhile, Kara gathered her team. We did well, she said softly, brushing sweat from her forehead. But this is only the beginning. The real lessons come when we face challenges that are unpredictable, that test not just skill, but creativity and willpower. Remember that. Always adapt. Always watch. Always move forward. The humans nodded, tired but ready. They understood that true strength was not just in their muscles, but in their unity, intelligence, and unbreakable spirit. High above, the alien warriors began to murmur among themselves in a different tone. What had begun as a demonstration of human weakness had turned into something else entirely. A revelation. These small, seemingly fragile beings were capable of things no one had predicted. They had resilience, cleverness, and a relentless drive that even the strongest species could not ignore. Vorlax finally spoke, his voice low and almost reverent. Perhaps we have misjudged them. Perhaps strength is not only muscle or power, but the courage to continue, the wisdom to adapt, and the unity to overcome. Thyra's eyes sparkled. I have never seen anything like this. If they continue to grow, humans may not just survive, they may lead. And below, on the surface of the arena, Kara's team rested for a moment, unaware of the whispers above. They did not fight for recognition or respect. They fought because they could, because they had to, and because they believed in the power of humans to rise above any challenge. The first trial had tested their strength and intelligence, but the galaxy had yet to see the full extent of human potential. The galactic arena had quieted after the humans' remarkable performance. Kara and her team, still catching their breath, moved toward the next trial area. Unlike the previous challenges, this one was designed not only to test their skill, but to push them beyond what seemed possible. Holographic projections filled the arena, displaying some of the galaxy's deadliest warriors. Massive creatures with armored hides, multiple limbs, and energy weapons appeared. Their simulated presence enough to intimidate any ordinary species. Many aliens in the observation pods smirked confidently. Surely, they thought, this would be the humans' undoing. Kara looked at her team. Do not be afraid of what they look like, she said calmly. Strength alone does not win battles. Watch carefully. Think. Use every advantage we have. And remember, never give up. Her words settled over the humans like a shield. Fear existed, yes, but determination was stronger. They had faced obstacles before, and each time, they had learned and adapted. The trial began. The holograms moved quickly, attacking from all directions with speed and precision. Humans scattered to avoid the first wave, rolling, ducking, and leaping over blasts of energy. But instead of retreating in panic, they observed patterns in their enemies' movements. Kara called out instructions, pointing out weaknesses and telling her team where to focus. The aliens in the pods leaned forward, their expressions shifting from amusement to surprise. They are analyzing the patterns, Thyra said quietly. Even in chaos, they remain calm. That is unusual. Lofton, in Razan. They are faster than I anticipated, Vorlax admitted, his deep voice rumbling in disbelief. Even their small bodies move with purpose. Every motion has reason. Oh. Back on the ground, Liam spotted a hologram with 4 arms swinging wildly. He ducked under a strike, rolled behind it, and pressed a control panel that sent a net swinging down, temporarily immobilizing the enemy. Mira climbed a nearby wall, launching herself across the arena and landing on another hologram's back, distracting it long enough for Jonas and 2 others to disable it. Kara's voice rang clear. Work together. Use the environment. Watch each other's backs. Every move seemed simple, yet effective. The humans were turning what should have been a disadvantage size, strength, and speed differences into an advantage. Their coordination was flawless. Their creativity was unmatched. Even when one of them was caught off guard, another human intervened, helping their teammate recover instantly. In the observation pods, the strongest warriors of the galaxy remained silent. Words failed them. No species had ever turned simulations designed for the elite into manageable challenges. They are learning in real time, Thyra finally whispered. They are predicting moves, responding instantly, and adapting together. Incredible. Zareth's long claws tapped nervously. They are humans. How can creatures so small be so precise? So clever? The humans advanced. They didn't just dodge or block. They controlled the battlefield. Kara noticed a pattern in the hologram's attacks. The heaviest warriors always left one side unguarded after a powerful strike. She signaled to her team, and in perfect harmony, they moved to exploit that opening. In seconds, 3 holograms were disabled without serious effort. Even Vorlax, proud and confident, felt unease creep into his chest. No species should be able to do this, he muttered. They are turning simulation into reality, and reality into advantage. But the trial was far from over. Suddenly, the holograms shifted their programming. They began to act unpredictably, changing speeds, angles, and attack patterns. Humans who relied on observation alone would struggle, but Kara had prepared them for this. Think faster, she shouted. Move with the unexpected. Trust your instincts and each other. The humans adapted again. Instead of waiting for openings, they created them. They used simple tools from their environment, debris and levers, to block attacks and trap holograms. They communicated silently with gestures and eye contact, moving as if they were a single organism. One hologram lunged at Kara with energy blades. She rolled to the side, grabbed a nearby panel, and used it to deflect the strike. Another hologram targeted Liam, but Mira slid in and knocked it off balance. Every action was a combination of thought, skill, and courage. The aliens watched in silence, awe and disbelief replacing the smug confidence they had felt earlier. They had never seen such a combination of intelligence, bravery, and coordination in any species, not even their own elite warriors. Look at them, Thyra murmured. Even injured, even tired, they continue. Every failure becomes a lesson. Every mistake becomes strength. They are not just surviving. They are learning, growing, and excelling. Vorlax shook his massive head. I have faced countless warriors in my life. None have moved like this. These humans, they are something else. The humans pressed forward through the final wave of holograms. Exhaustion weighed on them, but they ignored it. Every member of the team relied on others, every weakness covered by strength, every strength multiplied by teamwork. They adapted to unpredictability, exploited every opening, and never gave up. Finally, the last hologram fell. Kara raised her hand, signaling the end of the trial. The humans stood panting, bruised, and scratched, yet victorious. They had done what no one thought possible. They had defeated simulations designed for the galaxy's deadliest warriors. The silence in the observation pods lasted for several long moments. Vorlax finally spoke, his voice deep and awed. I have never witnessed anything like this. They are extraordinary. Zareth's voice was quiet, almost respectful. I misjudged them. Their strength is not obvious, but it exists, and it is dangerous in its own way. Thyra, eyes wide, said slowly, the galaxy may not be ready for humans. They are small, yes. Fragile, yes. But their courage, intelligence, and unity, That is a force unlike any we have known. Kara looked at her team. We have done well, she said softly, wiping sweat from her brow. But there is more to learn. These trials are not only about winning, they are about showing ourselves what we can do, what we are capable of. Never forget that. Never stop learning. The humans nodded, exhausted but unbroken. Each of them understood that strength was not measured by size or raw power alone, but by creativity, courage, and determination. Above them, the alien spectators began to speak quietly among themselves. For the first time, they were not confident. For the first time, they were not sure of the outcome. Humans, small and fragile as they appeared, were proving to be something extraordinary. The first two trials had tested endurance, skill, and intelligence. But the humans' true potential, what made them so different from any other species in the galaxy, was only beginning to show. Somewhere deep in the observation pods, Vorlax muttered to himself, "They are not just fighters. They are survivors, thinkers, and innovators. We have underestimated them. Terribly." Kara's team did not know the whispers above. They did not know the respect and awe growing among the strongest warriors in the galaxy. All they knew was that they had faced challenges and had adapted, survived, and triumphed. And that gave them confidence for whatever trials lay ahead. The story of humanity in the galactic arena was just beginning, and the galaxy would soon learn that humans were not to be underestimated. The galactic arena stretched endlessly, its corridors and platforms shifting like living metal. The humans had completed the first two trials with success, but Kara knew the hardest challenge still awaited them. This trial was designed to push not only their strength and intelligence, but their creativity, teamwork, and willpower to the limit. Above them, the alien observers were restless. Vorlax leaned forward in his pod, his golden eyes fixed on the humans below. "They have exceeded every expectation so far," he muttered. "But the final trial, even they should fail this one." Thyra tilted her head, her mind racing. "They adapt. Yes. But how far can adaptability go? Can they truly match the unpredictability of the arena itself?" The humans stood at the entrance to the trial zone. Massive energy barriers flashed, shifting platforms moved without warning, and the floor itself seemed alive, rising and falling in patterns designed to disorient anyone who dared enter. At the center of it all were holographic representations of the galaxy's fiercest warriors, programmed to test instinct, creativity, and teamwork. Kara gathered her team. "This trial will challenge everything," she said softly. "Do not rely only on strength or speed. Use your mind. Watch your environment. Help each other. Remember, every obstacle can become an advantage if you think carefully." The humans nodded, their determination steady. They entered the trial area, moving cautiously, but with purpose. The floor shifted beneath them, forcing them to adapt quickly, to avoid falling. Energy walls surged unexpectedly, but the humans dodged and weaved with perfect timing. One by one, holographic warriors attacked. They were faster and more unpredictable than anything the humans had faced before. But Kara's team worked together seamlessly. Mira lured one projection toward a moving platform, causing it to stumble, while Jonas and Liam used ropes and panels to trap it temporarily. Every action was precise, every movement coordinated. From above, the aliens watched in silence. The strongest warriors of the galaxy had never seen anything like this. Humans were turning chaos into opportunity. They were small, fragile, and seemingly weak, but their intelligence, courage, and unity allowed them to control the battlefield in ways the aliens had never imagined. "They are improvising," Zareth whispered, her voice tense. "Every obstacle, every attack, they turn it into something useful. They are unstoppable," Vorlax grunted. "It is more than skill. It is determination. They refuse to fail, and they adapt instantly. How can creatures so small be so dangerous? Kara noticed a group of holograms converging on Liam. She raised her hand and signaled silently. Mira sprinted toward the group, using a swinging platform to knock two holograms off balance. Jonas rolled beneath another, flipping it over with a panel, while Liam used the moment to disable the last projection. Even the strongest aliens watching could not deny the humans' ingenuity. Every weakness was turned into a tool. Every obstacle became a weapon. The trial intensified. Moving platforms rose higher, energy barriers pulsed faster, and holograms attacked in unpredictable combinations. Yet the humans moved like one entity, reading each other's signals and reacting instantly. Kara spotted a towering hologram, using its size to block paths and trap her team. She pointed to a narrow passage above. "Use it. Now." Her team understood immediately. They climbed, leaped, and swung into the high passage. The towering hologram lunged, but its bulk made it slow and vulnerable. Mira used a panel to strike its back. Jonas grabbed its legs, and together, they toppled the projection into a pit. The aliens in the pods exchanged stunned glances. "Incredible," Thyra murmured. "They are small. They are weak by appearance, yet they control the battlefield, even against superior force. Their intelligence, their courage, it is unlike anything I have ever observed." Reeking, Vorlax remained silent for a long moment, his pride and disbelief battling inside him. "We underestimated them," he said finally. "The galaxy may have underestimated them, terribly." The humans pressed on. Kara noticed another threat. An array of moving energy beams that could slice through anything in their path. Most would panic. But the humans did not. They analyzed the pattern quickly and moved as a unit, timing jumps and rolls to perfection. Not a single human was hit. Even when one team member stumbled, others were immediately there to help, forming a chain of support that allowed them to continue without pause. Their teamwork was flawless, their strategy constantly evolving to meet each new challenge. Finally, they reached the central platform. The final holographic warrior appeared. Massive, armored, and moving faster than any simulation before. It attacked with a flurry of strikes designed to overwhelm and confuse. Kara's team hesitated for just a moment, but then they remembered every lesson, every challenge, every trial they had faced. "Remember what we are capable of," Kara shouted. "Use everything we have learned. Together, we are unstoppable." They moved as one. Liam distracted the warrior from one side. Mira attacked from another. Jonas blocked and redirected energy strikes. And Kara used the environment to her advantage. They combined every skill, every strategy, every bit of courage into a single, coordinated assault. The massive hologram faltered, then collapsed. The trial ended. The humans stood exhausted, bruised, and dirty, but victorious. Their breathing was heavy, their muscles sore, but their spirits shone brightly. They had faced the ultimate test and emerged stronger, smarter, and more united than ever. Above, the aliens could not look away. Vorlax's massive hands rested on the edge of the pod. "I have never seen a species like this," he admitted quietly. "Their strength is not in their size or raw power. It is in their courage, their intelligence, and their unity. They are exceptional." Thyra nodded slowly. "Yes, they are not just survivors. They are innovators. They turn every challenge into an opportunity. Every weakness becomes strength. They are extraordinary." Zareth shook her head. "We thought humans were fragile, weak, insignificant. We were wrong. Terribly wrong." Kara gathered her team. "We did well," she said, her voice calm but proud. "This trial was not about fighting alone. It was about thinking, adapting, and working together." That is the true strength of humans. Remember it. Always. The humans nodded, exhausted, but victorious. They had not only survived, but had turned every obstacle into an advantage. They had demonstrated that strength was more than muscle, it was intelligence, courage, and unity. For the first time, the galaxy's strongest warriors were silent, watching humans with a mix of awe, respect, and fear. They had seen something no other species had shown. Humans who refused to be weak, who adapted to every challenge, and who used their hearts and minds as weapons just as sharp as any blade. And as Kara and her team rested, preparing for whatever came next, the aliens above realized something important. The humans' greatest advantage was not what they could see or measure, but what they carried inside the unyielding spirit of a species determined to rise above any challenge. The trial was over, but the legend of human courage and ingenuity in the galactic arena was only growing. The final trial in the galactic arena was about to begin. Kara and her team had proven themselves in obstacles, simulations, and unpredictable challenges. They were bruised, tired, and sweaty, yet their eyes shone with determination. They had learned to trust each other, to think faster, and to turn every weakness into strength. Above them, the alien spectators, the galaxy's strongest warriors, watched silently. Vorlax, Thyra, and Zareth had never been this quiet. They had expected human failure long ago, but instead, humans had exceeded every expectation. Even now, they waited, wondering what the humans could do against the ultimate challenge. The trial began. This time, the arena itself became a living maze. Platforms rose and fell, walls shifted without warning, and energy fields appeared randomly. Holographic warriors, faster and stronger than any before, attacked from every direction. The humans could feel the danger, yet none of them panicked. Kara raised her hand. Stay together. Observe, think, act. Use everything we have learned. We are humans. We adapt. We survive. And we succeed. The humans moved forward, dodging attacks and leaping across moving platforms. Every action was calculated, but instinctive. They used teamwork to protect each other, signaling silently with gestures and eye contact. Even in the chaos, their unity made them stronger. A massive holographic warrior lunged at Liam, swinging its huge energy blade. Kara shouted, "Mira! Flank from the left!" Mira sprinted, flipping over a moving platform, and struck the hologram from behind. Jonas pulled Liam out of the way, and together they brought the hologram down into a trap. The aliens above could not believe their eyes. Vorlax's deep voice rumbled. Even when faced with overwhelming force, they coordinate perfectly. They are extraordinary. Thera, her eyes wide, whispered, "They are not just fighting. They are controlling the battlefield. Every weakness becomes a weapon. Every obstacle, an advantage." The humans pressed on. Kara noticed the terrain shifting rapidly. Energy walls formed new patterns. Platforms spun faster, and the holograms moved unpredictably. Yet the team adapted instantly. They leaped from platform to platform, using ropes and panels to block attacks, redirect energy blasts, and create paths. Every move showed intelligence, courage, and quick thinking. At one point, a large hologram cornered Kara. She ducked, rolled, and grabbed a loose panel to shield herself. But the hologram continued to press forward. Before it could strike again, Mira leaped from above, striking its back, while Jonas pushed from the side. Liam pulled a rope, tripping the hologram, and together they toppled it. The alien's silence was deafening. None of the galaxy's elite warriors had ever seen such ingenuity from a small species. Humans were tiny, yet their intelligence, courage, and unity made them unstoppable. Vorlax finally spoke, his voice low and reverent. Strength is not only in muscle or size, their strength is in their mind, their spirit, and their heart. They are remarkable. Zareth's long claws tapped nervously. I have fought countless species. None of them think and move like this. Humans, they are beyond expectation. Thyra nodded. We have misjudged them for centuries. They are not fragile. They are not weak. They are a force that cannot be ignored. On the ground, Kara's team reached the central platform. The final hologram, the largest and fastest of all, appeared. It moved with speed that seemed impossible, attacking from all sides at once. The humans froze for just a moment, but then they remembered everything they had learned. Together, Kara shouted. We do this together. They moved as one. Liam distracted the giant hologram, while Mira climbed onto its side and struck vulnerable points. Jonas used a panel to block a deadly energy strike. Kara analyzed the battlefield and directed the team, finding openings and signaling movements. Every action was precise. Every move synchronized. Slowly, they brought the massive hologram down. It collapsed with a final flash, marking the humans' victory. Silence filled the arena. Then, one by one, the alien observers began to speak. Vorlax's voice rumbled, deep and serious. I have seen many species in my life, many warriors who thought they were unbeatable. But humans are different. Their strength is not obvious. It is hidden in courage, intelligence, and unity. They have earned respect more than any species I have known. Thyra's voice trembled slightly with awe. Yes, they are not only fighters, they are innovators. They adapt, learn, and overcome in ways that no one else can. The galaxy must recognize this. Zareth shook her head slowly. We judged them by size and power. We were wrong. They are extraordinary. On the arena floor, Kara gathered her team. She smiled, though sweat and dirt covered her face. We have done more than survive, she said. We have shown what humans can do when we work together, when we think, and when we never give up. Today, we have proven that our greatest strength is not just our body, but our mind, our spirit, and our unity. The humans cheered quietly, exhausted but proud. They had faced every challenge, adapted to every surprise, and emerged victorious. They were bruised and tired, yet unbroken, stronger than they had ever imagined. The alien observers slowly approached the arena. This time, there were no whispers, no scoffs, no doubt, only respect. They looked at the humans with admiration, realizing that this small, fragile species possessed a spirit and intelligence unmatched by many of the galaxy's strongest warriors. Vorlax extended a massive hand toward Kara. You and your people have earned respect, he said. We misjudged you. The galaxy has misjudged you. Humans are formidable. Thyra smiled. Yes. You are not only survivors, you are a force. And now, the galaxy must see it too. Zareth nodded. We will speak of this day to others. Humans are no longer a species to underestimate. You are extraordinary. Kara's eyes met those of the aliens. She nodded respectfully. We only strive to be our best, to protect those we care about, and to grow stronger. That is what makes humans who we are. The aliens left the arena, humbled and thoughtful. Word of the humans' abilities would spread across the galaxy, and no one would ever see them as weak again. The humans returned to their camp, tired but smiling. They had proven themselves in ways no one could have imagined. They trained, laughed, and encouraged each other, knowing that their courage, intelligence, and unity had made the difference. And somewhere in the distant stars, the strongest warriors of the galaxy would remember this day, the day when humans, small and underestimated, had shown the universe that their true power lay not in size or strength, but in spirit, intelligence, and unbreakable determination. The legend of humanity in the galactic arena had begun, and it would be remembered for generations.